Hello everyone, I am Dr. Trupti. Welcome to my channel Enjoy Biochemistry. At the end of this video, students shall be able to explain metabolic reactions of Krebs cycle, its energetics, regulation and significance. Krebs cycle is the final common metabolic pathway for oxidation of fuel molecules like carbohydrate, fatty acids and amino acids. Why it is called as Krebs cycle? Because these reactions of Krebs cycles were first proposed by Sir Hans Krebs in 1937 and that's why it is called as Krebs cycle. It is also known as citric acid cycle because citrate is the intermediate of this Krebs cycle. The another name for Krebs cycle is tricarboxylic acid cycle because two tricarboxylic acids are the intermediates of this Krebs cycle, that is citrate and isocitrate, and this Krebs cycle it occurs in the mitochondrial matrix. It has 9 steps. In the first step or in the first reaction there is formation of citrate from acetyl-CoA and oxaloacetate. Second reaction is formation of isocitrate from citrate. Third reaction is formation of alpha ketoglutarate from isocitrate. In the fourth reaction, succinyl-CoA is formed from alpha ketoglutarate. In the fifth reaction, succinate is formed from succinyl-CoA. Sixth reaction is conversion of succinate to fumarate. Then fumarate is further converted to malate in the seventh reaction, and finally oxaloacetate is regenerated. Now let's see the first reaction, that is formation of citrate. In this first step, acetyl-CoA condenses with oxaloacetate to form citrate. Oxaloacetate is 4 carbon molecule and this oxaloacetate, there is formation of citrate from this oxaloacetate and citrate is 6 carbon compound. So the 2 carbon compounds they are derived from acetyl-CoA. So acetyl-CoA 2 carbon compound combines with oxaloacetate to form citrate, and in this reaction coenzyme A is released, and this reaction is catalyzed by the important enzyme, that is citrate synthase. So this citrate synthase is involved in the formation of citrate from oxaloacetate and acetyl-CoA. This is the irreversible step, but body has other enzyme, that is citrate lyase, which can break down this citrate again into oxaloacetate and acetyl-CoA, and this reaction is helpful in the fatty acid synthesis because acetyl-CoA cannot cross mitochondrial membrane, and that's why citrate is taken in the cytosol from mitochondria, where citrate is again lysed with the help of enzyme citrate lyase, and we get acetyl-CoA, and this acetyl-CoA is further utilized for fatty acid synthesis. And this citrate synthase is a regulatory enzyme of TCA cycle or Krebs cycle. Now this citrate is a tricarboxylic acid and that's why this cycle is also known as TCA cycle. The coenzyme A, which is released in this step, it will be used in the oxidative decarboxylation of alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl-CoA, that is the fourth step of TCA cycle. Second step is formation of isocitrate from citrate, and this formation of isocitrate from citrate, it involves 2 reactions. In the first reaction, that is in the first step, first cis-aconitate is formed from citrate and there is removal of one water molecule, and this reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme aconitase. In the second part of this reaction, water molecule is added, the enzyme is same aconitase, and we get 6 carbon molecule, that is isocitrate. Isocitrate is also tricarboxylic acid. Along with citrate and isocitrate, both are tricarboxylic acid, and that's why the name tricarboxylic acid cycle. There is one compound fluoroacetate. It inhibits this enzyme aconitase. So it is the inhibitor of TCA cycle because it inhibits aconitase, which is the enzyme of TCA cycle. This aconitase enzyme, which is involved in the second step of TCA cycle, it is also known as moonlighting protein. What is meant by moonlighting? Moonlighting refers to a protein with at least 2 unrelated mechanistically different functions, and aconitase has 2 different functions. For example, it has a role in TCA cycle as well as there is one more isoenzyme of this aconitase, that is cytosolic aconitase, and it has a role in cellular ion homeostasis, and that's why aconitase is referred as moonlighting protein. Step number 3 is formation of alpha ketoglutarate from isocitrate. So this is the third step of TCA cycle. This also involves two reactions. In the first reaction, oxalosuccinate is formed from isocitrate, and in this process NAD is reduced to NADH, and further this NADH, that reducing equivalent, will be transported in the electron transport chain and 2.5 ATPs are generated. In the next step, there is release of carbon dioxide. So decarboxylation occurs here in this step, and as one carbon molecule is removed as carbon dioxide, now there is formation of alpha ketoglutarate, which is 5 carbon molecule. So from the isocitrate, by decarboxylation we get 5 carbon compound, that is alpha ketoglutarate, and in this process one NADH is also formed, and this reaction is catalyzed by enzyme isocitrate dehydrogenase. So isocitrate dehydrogenase forms alpha ketoglutarate from isocitrate. This is the step number 3. And this is the first oxidative decarboxylation, where one molecule of carbon dioxide is released. Now in this process of TCA cycle, there is oxidation of acetyl-CoA to carbon dioxide occurs, and acetyl-CoA is 2 carbon molecule. But note that the 2 carbons which are released as carbon dioxide are not same 2 carbons that entered cycle in the form of acetyl moiety, and oxygen in the carbon dioxide is not derived from molecular oxygen, but it is derived from the carboxylic group of intermediates. Step number 4 is formation of succinyl-CoA from alpha ketoglutarate. And in this process, this is the second oxidative decarboxylation process, where one second carbon dioxide molecule is removed in this process, and there is formation of succinyl-CoA from alpha ketoglutarate. Now here 5 carbon molecule alpha ketoglutarate is now converted to 4 carbon molecule succinyl-CoA, because there is removal of 1 carbon as carbon dioxide, and in this process NAD is reduced to NADH, and which is further then enter in the electron transport chain, and we get 2.5 ATP. And note that the coenzyme A, which was released in the first step, is utilized in this step number 4, and this reaction is catalyzed by enzyme alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. This is the irreversible step of TCA cycle, and it is also a regulatory step, because this enzyme alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase is regulated by various mechanisms. Now this alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, it is similar to pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Please watch a video on pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. I have described in detail how this enzyme works, and I am giving the link in description as well as in the suggested video. As pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, this is also a complex having 3 enzymes, and the first enzyme is alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. Second is dihydrolipoyl succinyl transferase. Third is dihydrolipoyl dehydrogenase, and it requires 5 cofactors. The first one is thymine pyrophosphate, lipoate, FAD, NAD+, and coenzyme A. The succinyl-CoA, which is formed in step number 4, is also derived from various other sources. Like it is derived from propionyl-CoA, which is the end product of odd chain fatty acid oxidation, and this propionyl-CoA is converted to succinyl-CoA. It is also derived from valine, isoleucine, and methionine. Now what are the functions of this succinyl-CoA? It has 2 important functions. First function is heme synthesis. This succinyl-CoA combines with glycine to form amino-levulinic acid, and this is the first step of heme synthesis, which requires succinyl-CoA. This succinyl-CoA is a donor of coenzyme A to acetoacetate in utilization of ketone bodies in peripheral tissue. So the coenzyme A group is donated to this acetoacetate to form acetoacetyl-CoA, and this reaction is catalyzed by enzyme thiophorase. Now what is the inhibitor of this enzyme alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase? Arsenite. Arsenite is the inhibitor of enzyme alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. Step number 5 of TCA cycle is formation of succinate from succinyl-CoA. And this formation of succinate from succinyl-CoA, it is catalyzed by enzyme succinate thiokinase. And there is release of coenzyme A here, and one molecule of GTP is formed from GDP. And this is example of substrate level phosphorylation where there is no role of electron transport chain. There is formation of energy without involvement of electron transport chain, and this is called as substrate level phosphorylation. So TCA cycle has one reaction where there is formation of GTP when there is conversion of succinyl-CoA to succinate, and this is the example of substrate level phosphorylation. There are two more reactions of substrate level phosphorylation, and those reactions are reactions of glycolysis. And what happens further to this GTP? This GTP can donate its terminal phosphoryl group to ADP, and there is formation of ATP. So in this reaction we get one ATP. Now in the liver and kidney, which are the sites for gluconeogenesis, so there are presence of two isoenzymes of succinate thiokinase. One is for ADP and other is for GDP. And the GTP which is formed by this reaction, it is used for decarboxylation of oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate, which is the important reactions in gluconeogenesis. So the step 5, there is formation of succinate, and this is the step of substrate level phosphorylation where there is one ATP molecule is formed. Step number 6 is formation of fumarate from succinate. So succinate is 4 carbon and fumarate is also 4 carbon. This reaction is catalyzed by succinate dehydrogenase, and this is the reversible reaction where FAD is reduced to FADH2. And this succinate dehydrogenase enzyme, which is important in this reaction, that is formation of fumarate from succinate, this is the only enzyme of TCA cycle that is membrane bound. It is located in the inner mitochondrial membrane. Rest all enzymes of TCA cycle, they are present in the mitochondrial matrix. And in this reaction FADH2 is formed, and this FADH2 then get oxidized through electron transport chain, and we get 1.5 ATP. And there is one compound called as malonate, and it is the structural analog of succinate and competitive inhibitor of this enzyme succinate dehydrogenase. So malonate is a competitive inhibitor of succinate dehydrogenase. In the 7th step, there is formation of malate from fumarate, and in this reaction there is just addition of one water molecule, and this reaction is catalyzed by enzyme fumarase. Coming to the last reaction of TCA cycle, that is step number 8, that is formation of oxaloacetate, or we can call it as regeneration of oxaloacetate, which was involved in the first step, that is formation of citrate. So regeneration of oxaloacetate from malate is a step number 8. And this reaction is catalyzed by enzyme malate dehydrogenase, and there is formation of NADH from NAD. So here one NAD is reduced to NADH, and we get 2.5 ATP from this NADH. And this oxaloacetate, it can act as a catalyst because it is in this 8th reaction, it is regenerated and then again it is recycled. So oxaloacetate is required to start the process of TCA cycle because it is the important catalyst which combines with acetyl-CoA to form citrate. That is the first reaction of this TCA cycle, and that's why it is considered as a catalyst of TCA cycle. Now let's see the energetics of TCA cycle. How much ATPs are generated when one molecule of acetyl-CoA is oxidized through TCA cycle. So first reaction, that is the step number 3, that is formation of alpha ketoglutarate from isocitrate, which is catalyzed by isocitrate dehydrogenase. Here one NAD is reduced to NADH and we get 2.5 ATP. In the step number 4, that is formation of succinyl-CoA from alpha ketoglutarate by the action of enzyme alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, there is one NAD is reduced to NADH and we get 2.5 ATP. Then in the step number 5, succinate is formed from succinyl-CoA and we get 1 ATP here. And when succinate is converted to fumarate by succinate dehydrogenase, here FAD is reduced to FADH2 and we get 1.5 ATP. In the 8th reaction, that is formation of oxaloacetate from malate, there is a reduction of NAD to NADH and there is formation of 2.5 ATP. So in total, we get total 10 ATP per cycle when one molecule of acetyl-CoA is oxidized through TCA cycle. Now let's see the regulation of Krebs cycle. There are 3 enzymes of Krebs cycle which are regulated, and the first enzyme is citrate synthase, which catalyzes the formation of citrate from acetyl-CoA and oxaloacetate. Second regulatory enzyme is isocitrate dehydrogenase, which catalyzes formation of alpha-ketoglutarate from isocitrate. And third regulatory enzyme is alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, which catalyzes the reaction, that is formation of succinyl-CoA from alpha-ketoglutarate. Krebs cycle is regulated by the levels of ATP, NADH and ADP. So whenever there is high energy charge, whenever there is increased production of ATP, in that case there is increase in the ratio of ATP to ADP and there is increase in NADH to NAD ratio. In this case, this increase in ratio will inhibit the enzyme citrate synthase, isocitrate dehydrogenase and alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, and this will slow down the process of Krebs cycle. So these are the inhibitors. ATP and NADH are the inhibitors of these enzymes. And whenever there is decreased ATP and decreased NADH and there is more concentration of ADP, so this ADP will activate the enzyme isocitrate dehydrogenase and alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, and it will accelerate the process of TCA cycle, which will lead to increased ATP production. Krebs cycle is also regulated by product inhibition, that is the feedback inhibition. For example, citrate synthase leads to formation of citrate. So the citrate can inhibit enzyme citrate synthase. Likewise, alpha-ketoglutarate, which is formed by action of enzyme isocitrate dehydrogenase. So this alpha-ketoglutarate will inhibit the isocitrate dehydrogenase if it is in the excess amount. Excess succinyl-CoA will inhibit alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. So this is called as feedback or product inhibition. Krebs cycle is also regulated by calcium level. Whenever there is muscle contraction, there is release of calcium and this calcium will activate the enzymes isocitrate dehydrogenase and alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. There are 3 inhibitors of Krebs cycle. The first one is fluoroacetate. It inhibits the enzyme aconitase, which is responsible for formation of isocitrate from citrate. Second is arsenite, which inhibits the enzyme alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, which catalyzes the formation of succinyl-CoA from alpha-ketoglutarate. And third is malonate, which inhibits succinate dehydrogenase, which leads to formation of fumarate from succinate. So fluoroacetate, arsenite and malonate, these are the inhibitors of Krebs cycle. What is the metabolic role of TCA cycle? The important metabolic role is it is considered as a final common metabolic pathway because all the fuel molecules, that is carbohydrate, lipids and proteins, in the first stage of metabolism they are digested and absorbed. For example, from the carbohydrates glucose is formed, from lipids fatty acids and proteins amino acids. That is in the stage 1 of metabolism. In the stage 2 of metabolism, that is in the intermediary metabolism, there is formation of acetyl-CoA from all the fuel molecules like carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. Fatty acids are oxidized to form acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA is also derived from the amino acid, and glycolysis leads to formation of pyruvate, and pyruvate is then converted to acetyl-CoA. So this is the stage 2 of metabolism, and in the third stage this acetyl-CoA undergoes this TCA cycle, that is Krebs cycle. It combines with oxaloacetate. So acetyl-CoA is oxidized through Krebs cycle and there is formation of reducing equivalent NADH and FADH2, and then these reducing equivalents are further reoxidized through electron transport chain, and in this process oxygen is required and there is formation of ATP. And as the acetyl-CoA molecule is central of all the metabolic pathway which is oxidized through this TCA cycle, this TCA cycle is considered as final common metabolic pathway. In the amino acid catabolism, they also finally enter TCA cycle, and amino acids are converted into various intermediates of TCA cycle. For example, glycine, alanine, cysteine, serine, threonine, tryptophan. From this amino acid, pyruvate is formed, and then pyruvate is further converted to acetyl-CoA, which is oxidized through TCA cycle. Glutamate, arginine, histidine, proline leads to formation of alpha-ketoglutarate. Then succinyl-CoA is derived from valine, isoleucine, methionine. Phenylalanine and tyrosine leads to formation of fumarate, and metabolism of aspartic acid forms oxaloacetate. Acetyl-CoA is formed from phenylalanine, isoleucine, tyrosine, tryptophan, and leucine. Leucine is exclusively ketogenic. So finally, TCA cycle intermediates, these are the sites where amino acids finally enter. TCA cycle is considered as the amphibolic pathway. It plays both roles, anabolism and catabolism. We know that oxidation of various food stuff, that is, it leads to formation of acetyl-CoA, and this acetyl-CoA is further finally oxidized through TCA cycle, as it is a final common metabolic pathway. So it has catabolic role and it also has anabolic role. It is involved, the intermediates of TCA cycle are involved in the synthesis of various biologically important compounds. For example, in the well-fed state, this acetyl-CoA is involved in the fatty acid synthesis. As this acetyl-CoA cannot cross mitochondrial membrane and fatty acid synthesis occurs in cytosol. So the citrate crosses the mitochondrial membrane, and again it is broken down into acetyl-CoA and oxaloacetate, and that acetyl-CoA is involved in the fatty acid synthesis in well-fed state. Another intermediate of TCA cycle, that is alpha-ketoglutarate, it leads to formation of glutamic acid and involved in the synthesis of neurotransmitter GABA. We have already discussed about the role of succinyl-CoA. It is involved in the synthesis of heme, that is the first reaction of heme synthesis, as well as it is a donor of coenzyme A to acetoacetate to form acetoacetyl-CoA, and that reaction is useful in the ketolysis, that is utilization of ketone bodies. Oxaloacetate is involved in the process of gluconeogenesis, and aspartate is formed from oxaloacetate by transamination, and this aspartate has role in the formation of non-essential amino acids and purines and pyrimidines. Due to anabolic role of TCA cycle, we know that the intermediates of TCA cycle, they act as source of precursors of various biosynthetic pathway. For example, heme is synthesized from succinyl-CoA and aspartate from oxaloacetate. So to counterbalance such losses and to keep the concentration of these intermediates in the cell, there are certain reactions which are called as anaplerotic reactions, and they are very essential. And this is called the anaplerotic role of TCA cycle. These anaplerotic reactions are called as filling up reactions or influx reactions or replenishing reactions. And these reactions are important to keep up the concentration of these intermediates in the TCA cycle. So which are those anaplerotic reactions? First is carboxylation of pyruvate to oxaloacetate, and this carboxylation reaction, it requires ATP, biotin and CO2, and this is responsible for keeping the concentration of oxaloacetate. Second is transamination of aspartate to oxaloacetate. So this intermediate of TCA cycle, oxaloacetate, it is derived from pyruvate and aspartate, and these are the important anaplerotic reactions. Likewise, malate can also be derived from pyruvate by malic enzyme. Glucogenic amino acid will lead to formation of fumarate. Valine, isoleucine, methionine, propionyl-CoA, this will lead to formation of the important intermediate, that is succinyl-CoA. And by transamination and deamination, glutamate, from the glutamate alpha-ketoglutarate is derived. So these are the important anaplerotic reactions which will maintain the concentration of intermediates of TCA cycle. Vitamins play a very important role in TCA cycle. Now, which are those vitamins required in the TCA cycle? Those are vitamin B1, that is thiamine, B2 riboflavin, B3 niacin and B5 pantothenic acid. So this vitamin B1, the coenzyme thymine pyrophosphate, and it is the cofactor of enzyme alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. Riboflavin is that is FAD is derived from riboflavin. It is flavin adenine dinucleotide and it is required in the succinate dehydrogenase reaction. Niacin, from which NAD plus is derived, and this niacin or NAD plus is required in three important reactions where NAD is reduced to NADH, and those are isocitrate dehydrogenase, alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase and malate dehydrogenase. B5 pantothenic acid, and it is important for providing coenzyme A, which is required here in the TCA cycle. Why it is said that fat is burned on the wick or flame of carbohydrates? Because we know that oxidation of fat, or that is the acetyl-CoA, because acetyl-CoA is derived on beta oxidation of fatty acid, and that oxidation of acetyl-CoA requires oxaloacetate. That is the first step of TCA cycle, that acetyl-CoA combines with oxaloacetate to form citrate, and then this acetyl-CoA is oxidized into 2 carbon dioxide molecule. So in this process the oxaloacetate enters the cycle and regenerated at the end. So, and the major source of oxaloacetate is pyruvate, which is derived from glycolysis, and that's why carbohydrates are absolutely required for oxidation of fat, because oxaloacetate is required for oxidation of acetyl-CoA in TCA cycle, and that's why it is said that fat is burned on the wick or flame of carbohydrates. TCA cycle is operative only under aerobic condition. There is no utilization of molecular oxygen in TCA cycle reaction, but still it is operative under aerobic condition, because the NAD plus and FAD, these coenzymes which are required for continuous operation of TCA cycle, they are regenerated in the electron transport chain only in the presence of oxygen, and that's why TCA cycle is operative only under aerobic conditions. Now let's summarize the topic. TCA cycle, also known as Krebs cycle and citric acid cycle, it is the final common oxidative pathway, and in this pathway there is complete oxidation of acetyl-CoA occurs. There is ATP generation because reducing equivalents are generated, NAD and NADH and FADH2, which are then through the electron transport chain we get ATP, and there is formation of 1 ATP by substrate level phosphorylation also. As I have mentioned, it is the final common oxidative pathway for carbohydrates, proteins and fats. This pathway is the integration of major metabolic pathway, and the carbon skeleton of amino acid, they finally enter the citric acid cycle, because various amino acids carbon skeleton, from those carbon skeleton of amino acid, the intermediates of TCA cycle are formed. Excess carbohydrates are converted as neutral fat because fatty acid synthesis occurs in the well-fed state from acetyl-CoA, and acetyl-CoA, as it cannot cross the mitochondrial membrane, with the help of citrate this process occurs. Citrate crosses the mitochondrial membrane, it is again converted into oxaloacetate and acetyl-CoA by citrate lyase, and further that acetyl-CoA is involved for fatty acid synthesis, and fatty acid synthesis are stored in the form of triacylglycerol in adipose tissue, which is called as neutral fat. There is no net synthesis of carbohydrates from fat. The fat can be formed from carbohydrate, but there cannot be formation of carbohydrate from fat. Only exception that glycerol part, which is formed by breakdown of triacylglycerol, that glycerol part and oxidation of odd chain fatty acid, that is propionyl CoA, only that part is involved in the gluconeogenesis. As such, carbohydrates cannot be formed from fat, but fats are formed from carbohydrates. And it is this TCA cycle has amphibolic role. It is involved in both anabolism and catabolism reactions, and it also has an anapleuritic role, which is responsible for maintaining the concentration of the intermediates of TCA cycle.